What's good, everybody? It's time for a DL short. Yo, let's talk about Coach Prime. What Deion Sanders is doing in college football has never been done before. He has carved his own path to greatness. He has blown up the establishment. And there are people out there who don't like it. Just don't like it. And there was a lot of talk about what's going on. People are saying, man, this is racial. People are, they're hating on Coach Prime and all that. Is there a racial element to it? Yeah, probably. Is there jealousy? Yes, there's jealousy. But I think the biggest motivator with all these other coaches, with all these programs, is fear. They fear Deion Sanders and what Coach Prime has done already. Already. The Oregon game was a blowout. Absolutely. Absolutely. But people keep forgetting Colorado won one game last year. They won in 11. One game. It's not like Colorado was an established program. He didn't go into Notre Dame. He didn't go into LSU, right? He didn't go into Clemson or Florida State or Florida or Miami, or USC or UCLA. We're in Colorado. What's in Boulder, bro? What's in Boulder? And look what he has done his first year. He came in there with players, blew up what they had. Encourage the kids who were there to, y'all can leave. We'll help you find another college. If you're going to stay here, you're going to have to change your mentality. We're going to go at it. And the kids who stayed are happy they did. Coach Prime is winning games he should not be even competitive in. He doesn't even have an offensive line or defensive line. He doesn't have the big boys up front. He doesn't have it. That's the first thing he said. We're not there yet. We're 7 or 8 players away. He'll get those players next year for sure. And the Oregon coach, whatever his name is, was talking all that madness. He's going to have to see Colorado next year. He handled that all wrong. That Oregon coach handled it all wrong. And that was all jealousy, but mostly fear. Mostly fear. There's a guy out there. His name is Joel Klatt. The Joel Klatt Show on YouTube. I believe he's like a proper sports analyst. I think he's maybe been around Fox News and stuff like that. He was talking about it, and let's check it out.
Now let's talk about Colorado getting absolutely boat raced by the Oregon Ducks. This is what it sounded like.
I don't think it's a target on that back. I just think this just teams are trying to beat me. They're not trying to beat our team. They keep forgetting I'm not playing anymore. I had a great career. I'm serious. I got a gold jacket, ain't back. So I'm good. But that's what it really is. I don't think they get any extra satisfaction. It is what it is. And I signed up for it. So let's go.
Yeah, Deion's exactly right. There's a lot to get into on this game as well. Let's talk quickly about the game first. Wasn't much of a game. And yet everybody's still interested in it. Did you know, and I see the overnight ratings on this, so it might change as like more markets filter in, but the numbers that I saw suggest that the Colorado-Oregon game was a higher rated game than even the Notre Dame-Ohio State game, which is remarkable. That's remarkable. The rating I saw had them, now again, whether that becomes the final rating or not, I'm not sure, but those are going to be the 2 top rated games of the day. And there's a chance where Colorado Oregon is the top rated game of the day from Saturday. That's wild. That game was over with 11 minutes to go in the first quarter. Notre Dame, Ohio State was an unbelievable thriller that all of us were enthralled with on every snap of the entire game down to the last 3 seconds. With the 2 biggest fan bases and really histories, I know Michigan fans would be mad at that, in college football, like those are the Giants. Those are the Blue Bloods. That's the Cowboys against the Giants on Sunday Night Football in a barn burner. And Colorado, Oregon is going to outrate it. People are enthralled with Deion Sanders. They are.
And there it is right there. People are enthralled with Deion Sanders. They love this story. The Oregon coach was talking about Hollywood, and this is not, end of the Cinderella and all that. No, he's wrong. This is not the end of the Cinderella story, right? This is the part where they go back to the basics and they work hard and they continue to win. The Cinderella story is still going. That college won a single game last season. They've already won 3 games, and one of those games was against a ranked team. When you look at what's going on with Colorado, the Cinderella story is still going. America wants to see what primetime is going to do. Can Deion do it? He's already turned the school around. This program is already turned around. How much money has he brought to Oregon? Correction. How much money has he brought to Colorado? He brought money to Oregon too. But look at this. Colorado got beat up, right? They're 3-1. They were 0-3 going into a game on a road against the I think they were the 9th ranked team in the nation at the time, Oregon. They go into Oregon. Oregon has an amazing program, an established program over there, right? They know what they're doing. They've been doing this for a long time. This coach walked into a system that was already in place long before he got there. This coach is in there talking all this crazy. He didn't build that. He just was able to keep it going. Why do kids want to go to Oregon? Because Oregon has the flashiest uniforms, right? They got Nike behind them or whatever, something like that. They got a big money behind them. I bet you it's easier to recruit to Oregon there than it was to recruit to Colorado before Deion Sanders got there. And this coach from Oregon came from Georgia. So he came with all these tools and all these connections he done made. He's part of the cool kid clan in college football. And here comes Deion. Here comes Deion Sanders. How dare you, right? That's why they mad at him. But look at that. Oregon beats up on Colorado, 42-6. Okay. I'm no big football person. I don't know the stats. I just love watching the game. Right. And I've seen Oregon, and Oregon is tough. I ain't gonna lie to you. I believe Oregon is underrated. I think Oregon should be definitely in the top 5. I would argue top 3. Oregon ain't no joke. I think Oregon could beat Georgia. I'm for real. Again, I'm not the guy with the numbers and the stats and all that. It's just I see it in these kids. I think they could do it. Oregon goes, hosts Colorado. Deion Sanders comes to town, and everyone is there to see Colorado. I'd be mad too if I was the coach. I would do exactly what that coach did. I would have did everything he did to get the team up, because you got to be careful with that. You're 21-point favorites. You can't let your team, you can't let these kids think, oh man, we ain't really got to practice hard for this. He got his team ready to play. That's what he had to do. He played that game as if he was playing for a national championship. He had to beat the brakes off of Colorado. He had to. It wasn't personal, it was business, bro. Like, look, I got to do it. It's one of those things, and it's not personal. It really is business. I don't think he handled it well post game. I don't think he should have had the cameras in the locker room and all that. I think all that was a mistake, but whatever. But he did what he had to do. Mission accomplished. He had to do that. Colorado has to play USC next week, and everyone is still watching Colorado. Colorado's no longer ranked. I think that was, that was real. They got ranked, and that was pretty cool. They went from a 1-11 season to being ranked in the top 25. That's amazing. You know what I mean? Again, win. This is all icing on the cake. This ain't even this. No one thought about that. No one thought that would even be possible, right? So here comes USC. Right? USC is the opposite of Oregon in the sense that USC is always overrated. Every single year, USC is overrated. Again, I'm just a guy who likes to watch what happens on the field. I ain't getting into all the stats and all the recruiting and all the rest of it. USC could lose to Colorado if they ain't careful. If USC's coach don't get these kids up to play this game as if their whole season depends on it, which it does, USC could get beat by Colorado. All Colorado has to do is make the game competitive, and that's a win for them. Colorado are 21.5-point underdogs in this game. 21.5 points. So they're giving Colorado 21.5 points. And here's the thing. Colorado should, again, get beat down. They should get the brakes beat off of them. Why? Because they don't have all the elements they need yet. They don't have those big boys up front. They don't have that O-line. They don't have that D-line. They can't protect the quarterback. They got a really good pocket quarterback who doesn't like to run. They can't protect him against a USC, against an Oregon like they need to. And their defensive line is being pushed off the ball, so they can't stop the run. And last week against Oregon, they were missing their most important player on the team. Hunter wasn't there. He plays both sides of the ball. So that's like losing two players. They lost their best defensive player and their best offensive player when he got that dirty hit against him against the Colorado State game. In that Colorado State game. Yeah, that was a dirty hit. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what nobody says that someone motivated that kid to do that, but that's another conversation. Colorado. You know what I mean? And if you guys are listening, you might hear some buzzing in the background. That's the landscaping people. I don't know why they always wait for me to turn on my cameras before they start cutting the grass. But anyway, look at what Deion Sanders has done. Why are these coaches so upset? Why are these coaches hating so much? Because they know what Deion said was 100% facts. You better get me now. Next season, when he recruits the best offensive lineman, the best defensive lineman, when he gets some linebackers right and he gets some defensive ends in there, and he gets the speed that he needs. Colorado is undersized. They're small kids and they're slow. They're fast in certain skill positions, but overall, they don't have the kind of speed that you're going to find at USC or Oregon, or you're going to find at Oregon State. They just don't have that speed yet. They'll have it next year. So these coaches know it. And they're like, man, Deion's going to come in here and crush us. If you look at the Colorado's schedule, which I've kind of looked at it, it's right here on the screen. They have USC. They have Oregon State, right? USC is ranked number 8 in the country right now. Oregon State is 19 in the country. They have Washington State, 16 currently in the country, and Utah ranked 10th in the country right now. They got to play them. If Colorado loses those games but wins the rest, right, which is probably a good chance that could happen, they're going to finish 7-5. They got a really good shot at finishing 7-5 after a 1-11 season last year. 7-5. Think about that. And that's if they lose to every ranked school remaining on their schedule and they beat the rest. You know, they got Arizona State. They have UCLA. They have Arizona, right? It's Pac-12 stuff. And Colorado is definitely good enough to win those games. They're absolutely good enough to win those games, especially if the coach and the coaching staff keeps the kids focused. Now, in the Oregon game, bro, they got beat on the field. They got outcoached. They got beat in every aspect of the game possible. I think this was a great experience. Coach Prime was prepared for this. This is something that these kids needed to see. Maybe the kids were starting to believe in their own hype too much. You know what I mean? They don't know about Public Enemy. They ain't never heard Flavor Flav say don't believe the hype. Right? And that's what these kids, now that they got punched in their mouth. You know what I mean? They got embarrassed. Now they can calm down. You don't go into somebody's stadium and start, wilding out on their logo midfield. You don't do that. You don't do that. You don't go into somebody's house and start doing that. And they learn. Y'all need to calm down. You need to understand y'all ain't complete yet. This is the reason why primetime Deion Sanders told his two sons who play on that team, y'all not going to the NFL yet. Y'all going to come back for one more year. And that's going to be an amazing year. If no one gets hurt, barring any injuries, Colorado's going to tear it up. These coaches, that Oregon coach, he knows he has to recruit against Deion, talking all that craziness. We play for wins, not clicks, and all this other kind of stuff he was saying. This ain't Hollywood, because he knows it's going to be almost impossible to out-recruit Deion Sanders. That's prime time. That man is a football Hall of Famer. He played in the Major League Baseball, bro. Deion did it all, man. What did this coach do? Like, how you going to compete with that? Deion is the GOAT. Come walking in your door talking about, I want you to come play for my school. And Deion's going to tell the truth to these kids. He's going to let them know. He's going to put the kid first. Deion doesn't care about all of the politics involved. He knows what he has done. He knows he can replicate this anywhere in America. He knows he can do it. He did it in the SWAC, man. He did it with historically black colleges. And now he's at a Power 5 school. He can go anywhere. So these kids are going to come play for him. Why wouldn't I go to Colorado? If I'm a linebacker, right? If I'm a defensive-minded guy, man, come on, man. You could be at practice and Ray Lewis might be there. Ed Reed might be there. They both played with Deion in Baltimore. They both played with Prime. They might be there. Like you got all kind of greatness on that sideline. You got some of the best receivers that ever played the game. You know what I mean? You got best defensive guys, special team guys. They're all there. And then you got the A-list, right? It's a party. Boulder lit. You got Lil Wayne over there, man. DJ Khaled, man. You probably had Jay-Z show up with Beyonce, man. Whoever, anybody who is anybody is going to be in Boulder moving forward because that's where the party's at. So what? They got the brakes beat off of them by a far superior team. They were supposed to. They were supposed to. I wish that game had been more competitive, but it was what it was. But I guarantee you, I will be shocked that this USC Colorado game is a blowout. I think it's going to be competitive. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. If we had a sports book here in Central Florida, I would go put $50 on Colorado. And I'll take the 21.5 points and I'll take another $20 and just bet the money line, which is 110. I'll bet the money line just to see what happens. Because you never know, bro. It's football and it's USC. USC is always overrated. Every single season, they're overrated. These kids don't never perform like they're supposed to. I'm telling you, this is going to be a really good game to watch. That's going to be Saturday, September 30th at 12 p.m. I don't know where y'all going to be, but I'm going to be in front of a TV watching that. Watching Colorado. Right? What Joel Klatt said about Ohio State, Notre Dame, that was the best football game that I've seen in I don't know how many decades. That game was off the chain. I am a Notre Dame fan. I've always been a fan of Notre Dame since I was a youngin'. Right? That game was crazy. That goal line defense at the very last few seconds of the game. And Ohio State managed to win that one. Man, that was a football game, but everybody was watching Colorado. Only football people were watching that game. That game should have been on prime time. That was the best football game. But everybody was watching Colorado. And this is why they fear prime time. Now I'll finish with this. That Oregon coach, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's mostly fear. He did what he did out of fear. He had to beat that Colorado team the way he did. He had to do that. But what I would have done differently, like I would have did everything identically to the way he did it up until game day. I would not have had cameras in the locker room talking crazy, and I would not have been talking crazy in the post game. I would not have. When the game was over, I would have shake Deion Sanders' hand. I'd have told him how much I respect him. I would have told him that he is truly one of the greatest to ever step on any football field. I'm like, I did what I had to do. You understand why. And I would have told him, I look forward to competing against you and your team in the future. I know next year you're going to have all your people in place, and I love to compete. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll have one of the best rivalries in college football history, like Ohio State, Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan, Michigan State, Florida, Florida State. Maybe we could have something like that, right? I'd have gave him all the praise and all the respect. I'd have gave him all his flowers because he earned it. And I would have sat there in the post game and I would have said, listen, we have a far superior team than Colorado. Coach Prime is the man. Y'all need to watch what he say. He is going to be a problem next year. I look forward to competing against him next year. I'd have said that on camera. I look forward to competing against Coach Prime in Colorado next year because they are going to be a threat. And I love to compete. But I wouldn't have said all that other craziness. I would have went into it. I wouldn't have been trying to kick him thinking he's down. I wouldn't have done any of that. I would have been a gentleman about it. And I would have told the truth. Like, hey, Coach Prime is doing something we ain't never seen. It's exciting to watch it. I'd have said, I'm a fan. I'm watching him. I can't wait to see the great things he's going to do for college football because we all going to benefit from it. And then we would have talked about the game. That's what I would have done. That's the one thing different I would have done. And that's just being 100 with it. And now you have a health of respect. And now y'all programs can get out there and get after each other. Because Oregon has a really good program and they ain't going nowhere. And like I said, they are, in my opinion, often underrated, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because they come out of the Pac-12, right? But these coaches, man, they're mad. They're mad. Why did Primetime come over here to Pac-12, right? Why didn't he go over to one of these other conferences? Why ain't he coaching Appalachian State? Why ain't he coaching, South Florida? Why do you have to come out here? That's why they mad. Prime is already a legend. And the season ain't even over yet. Ain't even halfway over yet. He's already a legend. Imagine what he's going to do when he gets the kids that he needs, the young men that he needs, all the pieces he needs for his football team. He might be unstoppable. For real. He might be unstoppable. He will certainly be on the level of a Nick Saban and all the great coaches that came before Nick Saban. Colorado, telling y'all, you better watch Prime. And Coach Prime was 100% correct when he said, you better get me now. Those are my thoughts. Y'all let me know what y'all thoughts are. I'll link the video of Joel Klatt in the description. Joe, check out that video, man, and like and subscribe over here on his platform. He's a real football person, man. He's a real college football person. That whole video is really, really good. So check that out. Please give us a like if you like it. Please give it a dislike if you dislike it. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. I'm DL Saint, man. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Peace.